Hi Year 6. Today's lesson we are going to be looking at moving up to secondary school. Mr. Lewis has created a lovely lesson which I am going to talk you through based on moving to secondary school and giving you some kind of background information as to why moving to secondary school is actually quite a big deal. So we're just going to talk through the different aspects, and there are mini tasks to do along the way, so make sure you have a pen and paper as well. So why is it a big deal? Primary school is the first pond children grow in. So imagine a little pond, a little small area of water, which is seen to be similar to a primary school. Okay, that's where you first start out. In secondary school, university, and all occupations such as nurses, teachers, and engineers are also their own little ponds. A pond represents physically a small patch of water where different life form grows. So in a real pond, frog spawn, fish, and algae all exist in the same area, learning, maturing, and developing at the same time, much like a school, where all of you from different walks of life learn together and grow together as well. And within a big pond of school, there are individual ponds, which are classes. Okay, now you're going to be moving to, if you like, a new pond when you go to secondary school. So this is just a little play on words, but the pond of life and to ponder life. So you've got a pond there, and then to ponder is to question, to think about. Okay? So why is it a big deal? So children in primary gain different forms of education in school. So the knowledge is the source that receives the most amount of attention. Okay, so they get a lot of knowledge when they're in primary schools, as you have done. You're always learning new topic, different things about history, getting new skills, and it is really, really key to your development as a child. And there are moments inside moments, teachable moments, as everything in the environment teaches a lesson. So not only are you teaching and learning in class, you're also learning outside when you're on the playground, when you're going through new experiences, be it with friends or building relationships with other members of the school community. So sometimes it's hard to give an exact description of anything. The best way to compare it to is something that it's like, just to make it easier for you to see, hence why Mr. Lewis uses the pond as the analogy to compare. So let's go into a bit more detail about how school kind of gives you those skills that you need. So for one simple lesson in science or maths, there could be 25 different lessons packed into that one learning objective. So 25 different things that you're learning from that same lesson. Okay, so for instance, if the learning intention was to know the different parts of the human anatomy or the human body, you will have a PowerPoint on the board. Okay, and that information comes straight to your mind because you're looking at the screen, you're reading the information. Okay, then you might also have an activity where you have to work in a group. Again, that's where you're learning about how to work together. So you're not only learning about the science, but you're also learning about teamwork. Then we'll have language and people skills, working in a team, you're voicing your opinion, and you're interacting with confidence. And then the main task might be to then write down what you have learned on paper. So again, you're going to review all of what you've been told and then make sense of it and then show your understanding to it. And then all of this will happen in 1 hour of learning, as well as times 5 in a day if you have 5 lessons. Okay, so there's lots and lots of learning going on in primary school, and when you move on to secondary school, that learning gets even more complex. So it's really important to have that motivation from the. So if we look at a lot of children, they have different reasons for maybe thinking that school is actually quite a big deal and they're not so excited about it. So a lot of children protest against school. Why should anyone leave their comfy beds to put on uncomfortable school uniforms where they have to wake up at the crack of dawn to line up and be told what to do? And if they're not allowed to be told, if they do something wrong, they get in trouble. And at home you have your personal treasures, your creature comforts, and you have lots of things that you love in your family. Okay, and it's important to understand as teachers that children are coming to school because they're coming to learn, but also we want to create a nice homely atmosphere for you as well. Okay, so what I would like you to do first of all is draw your special space where you feel safe. So I want you to draw a bird's eye view of your room and go into detail and show the parts of the room that mean the most to you. What makes you feel comfortable? What's the position of the bed, the view from your window, the colour of the walls, what items are on your desk if you have them, and remember to label all of the spots of comfort in your room. So pause the video here and have a go at that task. You might want to create something like this. Okay, now think. Okay, yes, I want to stay home all day and it's wonderful. I've got everything I want around me. But think about staying at home all the time, 24 hours a day, with the same old family members and the same environment. Eventually, it gets boring. Now, some of you may be experiencing that already while you're on lockdown. Some of you are probably excited to have to come back to school because you're thinking, I'm actually really bored. I want to see my friends. There's limited interactions with a small range of people. Although it's a lovely environment, it's probably not the most enriching or stimulating environment being at home. And in order for you to develop, grow, and mature, you need lots of things around you to keep your mind active. So you need to be in a colourful, vibrant setting where so much is going on at the same time. And what environments gives you experience, lessons, and opportunity? Well, school, of course. And it is a small self-containing ecosystem. Schools are homes and the classes are like your bedrooms. And you have all of your different aspects of home within your school. Okay, so it's really, really important to merge those two ideas together. Okay, so Mrs. Lewis, this is a quote from Mr. Lewis. Sometimes it's hard to give an exact description of anything for that matter. The best way is to compare it to something that's like it for clarity purposes. So to compare something that's like something is sometimes easier. So we can all agree, considering the alternatives, taking the purpose into complete consideration. School is the hotspot for a child's development. It's the first time you're placed in a classroom with 29 other strangers from all different nationalities and environments, led by a teacher who's responsible for raising, teaching, and guiding you. You spend 6 hours, 5 days a week in this bedroom socializing with your roommates, if you think about it that way. But it's your classroom, isn't it? Okay, and it's your safe haven, it's your safe. So the main tasks. The experience you have every day is a lesson. Every lesson, every conversation, every greeting matters. It may not seem that way at the time, but in the future you'll remember the benefits. To prove this point, I would like you to interview an older family member. So you can do it on the phone if you can't go and see them. You'll ask them questions about what their primary school experience was like, and by doing this, you'll gain an insight into how significant school life is and the importance of it. Okay, the importance of primary school and the importance of that transition into secondary. You're going to learn what lessons had the most amount of impact in their school life, and the clue is in the memories their minds chose to keep hold of and replay. Even though a lot of life has been lived since their school life, these memories hold the most value. So there's certain things that will stick out in their memories now. After all these years of going to primary school, there'll be memories that they think, yes, you know what, I really enjoyed myself because this is what happened. So you need to think of the same thing. So these are some examples of your interview questions that you can ask. Okay, and you can add your own if you want to. So what Mr. Lewis would like you to do is show us or go through and interview someone in your family and talk about their primary school experience and why they found it so exciting. Think about the fact that school is like a second home. It's a safe haven for you. It's a place where you get to interact and learn so much, and see if that is reflected in the answers of your chosen adult. Okay, and I want you to write down all of your ideas and your interview questions and answers and email them to us at the Year 6 email address so that we can see how well you have interviewed and what you've learned from it, really. And I hope you do that. So we look forward to seeing your work, and we will see you next week with another lovely PSHE lesson.